Hello, my dear friends. Did you miss me? Take two. Not that you would know if I hadn't said anything. Hello, my darling friends. New, old, returning. Glad you made it here again. Glad I made it here again. I'm trying to get on a slightly more regular recording schedule. My name is Jessica. You can also call me Jess, Jessie, Biskit. Make up your own name. Just get it approved by me first. And let's jump right into the knitting, and then I'll get to life stuff and other things that I'm into lately afterwards. Starting with finished objects, I made this hat for someone, and it's entirely too big. Like, I have a small head, but holy shit. Like, even if you roll it up, I don't know, it's just so loose, and then it doesn't really look right. I gotta frog it and start over and either go, I think I'm gonna go down a needle size too, because the fabric's not, I want a slightly, fix the hair. I want a slightly denser fabric. I also liked the inside of it too. Check that out. I think that looks really cool. I used Here There Be Dragons. I loved this colorway. The person I picked it out for, I think they're gonna love it because it's very neutral, but then it also has these really gorgeous speckles, you know? So great pattern, great yarn, user error. That's all right though. Next I finished another Musselburgh hat. Or someone said it's Musselborough, and then I said it really weird, but I tried to confirm with someone that knew German, at least on a basic level fluently. Is that a thing? Basic level fluently. You're catching what I'm throwing at you. So, and the name, how to pronounce the name, it's a mystery still. Maybe one day one of us will get it right. I used Craft Me Not yarn for this one, and the cool thing about it was on the inside, it's more of like a micro stripe. Look at those pretty speckles. There's like blue and yellow and black and this pinkish color. Look at that. Can you see the yellow speckles? Not very well. So I made this for someone special. I'm gonna throw a pom-pom on top of it, but it's been washed and blocked, and it's gonna be part of a little Christmas gift that I put together for a friend of mine. Next, I knit the rocket tee, and I knit it with some of the prettiest yarn in my stash. It's too big, y'all. It's too big. And not only is it too big, because it's wool and it's a t-shirt, and given where I live, like, there isn't enough of like an in-between season period for me to wear a knitted wool t-shirt. And it's just too freaking big. I put it on and it just swallows everything. And then I thought, do I really want to wear a knitted t-shirt after all of that work? I mean, I did a lot of work on this. I loved the pattern. The pattern wasn't the issue. I was the issue. Like, I had to bring in the neckline, which actually looked kind of cool because it was too big. I knitted the wrong size with the wrong everything. And I loved the way that the stripes turned out, like the different size stripes and all of that. And I love the way it feels. It just feels so soft and wonderful. But I have a feeling, and I had this feeling before I finished it, I'm not gonna wear this. I just won't. It's not the kind of thing I would wear anyway, because I think I rambled enough about that. So I have a plan for this yarn, and it's gonna be ripped out soon, but for right now, this is an FO. All right? All right. That's all I'm going to say about that. Because I love this yarn, and I'm definitely going to be knitting with it and doing something that I think I'll wear more often. I don't want to take some of my favorite yarn from my stash and keep it in something that I'm never going to wear. That's just crazy. My last finished object is my night shift shawl. So I'm just going to do a little, I have no idea what you can see, but I have a feeling you're seeing greatness right now. It's interesting because the way that the spin cycle yarn is patterned by Andrea Mowry, by the way, night shift shawl. I started out just using up like the light colors as the background, and then by the time I got to about this point, I realized the yarn that I had left over was really dark. The light stuff didn't. Yeah, I was just having this, like, how do I want the colors to turn out? How do I want this to turn out? And so I went from like a lighter background to some darker backgrounds. So it almost looks like two different designs from a color palette standpoint in one shawl, and it is. And at first I was disappointed and I was gonna rip this out too. And then I thought about it and I was like, yeah, but it's so big and so warm and so pretty. Even though it didn't turn out exactly how I wanted it to, that doesn't mean that I'm not gonna wear it. And that's the key. Am I gonna wear it? This, absolutely. I could easily see myself wrapping myself up in it. You know, oh, I forgot to put my stuff on my head. I could see myself wrapping up in it in a winter day, you know, like the soon-to-be old lady, 37 going on 80 that I am. So, I'm going to keep it. I think it's a good idea to just wear it. I don't want to knit that shawl all over again. And it's not like the tee where I'm never gonna wear it. So with all that said, this is getting ripped out, but the other finished objects are gonna stay. Oh, it's so hot. What am I doing? But I feel weird not doing this every time now, you know, and there's actually photo evidence of me doing this my entire life with different things. So, oh my gosh, that's really heavy. That's really all I've got from the FO standpoint. And it seems like a lot because it's a lot of really big, or it's two really big projects, but this one, you'll remember I only had, if you watched the last episode, I only had a few rows left on this. And then this tee, I already had a good chunk of it done too. I tried to do a split hem and it did not work out. So I just knitted it to pattern, but that didn't work out either, did it? All right, so that's it for, no, it's not it, but I don't know where my other FO is. Oh shit, it's across the room. Oh, you guys, I just can't. I'm sitting on the floor with the tripod in front of me and I've got like this circle of stuff. You're just not gonna be able to see it. It's not that exciting anyway to look at. It's just a gray washcloth. Washcloths are one of the things that I'm knitting for presents for people right now. Just Knit Pick Stitchy, gray washcloth for a birthday coming up. So let's skip that one. And actually, if we go into my UFOs, this is washcloth number 2, same yarn, Chagu, size 6, 4mm needles. Holy shit, it's hot! I gotta hurry up so I don't die of a heat stroke sitting in my living room floor. So that's my washcloth whip. Can you see it? There it is. Next FO is these fingerless mitts that I'm making for myself. There is no pattern. I cast on 44 stitches. I'm using a Chow Goose size 2 needle. It's 2.75 millimeters if you care. This colorway is a Halloween colorway from what's it called? Expression Fiber Arts. It was their Halloween colorway last year. So what I'm doing, let me get that to focus on that. What I'm doing is just a simple cable up the middle of the fingerless mitt, and I'm actually at the round where I need to split for the thumb. And what I'll do is I want to make the hand, like I want to do the design till about like right here. And then I want to do ribbing just up past the fingertips, and same with the thumb, so that you can roll them back. Like if you needed to get on your phone, then you can roll them back up. I'm sweating like a pig right now. So you get the idea. I want you to be able to like I want to be able to use them to keep my hands warm, but also have my fingers accessible. All right, let's just tuck that in there and keep going. Next, I finally got back to socks again. I missed knitting socks. This sock is for my father. It's very knit worthy. It looks all weird because I started the sock and then I ripped it out and started over. And I'm not gonna steam block it just to make it look pretty while I'm knitting it, but you can see those stripes, micro stripe. It's sort of like micro stripes, sort of like pooling. And then you get this contrast color. It's actually a sock set. It's one of the like chicken sock sets that Hugh Loco does. I bought a couple of those. They're gorgeous. I love them. And I thought these colors would be perfect for my dad. So let's see if I've got the ball band. Okay, so it's the Backyard Chicken Collection by Hugh Loco. And this one is called, one of the roosters called Black Wheaton Americana. So where's the yarn? So here's the yarn ball, just in case you're wondering. And here's the contrast color that you get with the sock set. Love those. This is the second time I've knitted socks from one of her sock sets. And love it. Just love it. They're gorgeous. And they're fun. So I highly recommend checking those out. All right, so that's the sock. Gosh, I'm almost gonna have to crouch down so you can see everything. Oh, next I'm very excited about this one, but it's not getting a lot of love right now, and you'll find out why soon. Well, October birthdays, you just saw most of the reason why. So this is my Weekender sweater by Andrea Mowry. There we go. So you can see that I've sort of got a striping going, and for those of you that don't know, you knit it bottom up and it's inside out. So the stockinette part is actually the inside. So if I turn it over, there we go. All right, so let's talk about this yarn. Well, actually, first let's talk about the pattern. I haven't gotten super far, but I'm loving it. There are so many endless options on how to design your own sweater using this pattern and the different color palettes. Like this faux seam is just gorgeous. I love it. And that runs down the front and the back if you haven't seen this pattern yet. So how am I knitting my sweater? What's my color palette? Let me tell you. So I'm holding fingering weight yarn double. The color that runs throughout the whole thing is this called Woodpile by Coast to Coast Yarn. Probably my favorite colorway of hers. And I bought enough of it when it came out to prove that to her, I think. But I love, love, love this colorway. It's got this smoky gray. It looks like a wood pile. I have a wood pile, all right? So then what I'm doing is I'm incorporating other yarns. Like here's another Coast to Coast yarn that came from her August. I think I talked about all this. It was like her August colorway or whatever. Now I'm breaking my own rules and I'm not gonna make it just a Coast to Coast yarn sweater. I decided while I was knitting this, because the yarn that Erin dyed has speckles of other colors like blues and pinks and stuff in it. And then I saw the sections that have a little bit of purple, fell in love all over again. So I've got this yarn of purple it was from a yarn. I used to get the Yarnable box, but I've had to cut down on subscriptions because I just needed to, you know, pull back a little bit. But before I did that, this is like Stormy something. It was earlier this year, but I thought that this purple, like if I held these double for one of my little stripes, that would be awesome. So that's next when I finally get back to that sweater, which might be in a couple of days. I'd like to at least knit on it a little bit this Sunday, I think, because it's for right now, it's mindless. I still have quite a few rows to go before, oh yeah, before I split for the sleeves. Gotta crouch down so you can see it all. Yes. I bet my neighbors can see this right now. Shit's hilarious. All right, what have I got left for my UFOs? Okay, the last thing I've got is a birthday present that I'm still making for somebody whose birthday was in August, but my tendonitis issues made it really hard to do this. And so I'm almost at the point where I can start doing it again, but I'm learning how to cross stitch. And this particular person loves vinyl. And so I'm cross stitching this and I've just got to finish the border. And then the first two words are off center and I can't handle it. So I'm going to rip those out, fix these two. I'm flipping you guys off right now. Fix these two and finish the border and then I'll be done. And then I can steam it so that it's, you know, lays flat and then I can iron it. All right. All right, so let me tell you what I did and how I'm gonna make it all better. So listen, folks, I got farther than this. I got into the third section, which I actually love, by the way. That's probably my favorite so far. Like, how pretty, if you've seen it. I love all of these colors so much, and I absolutely hate the way that they look together in this shawl. Love the shawl, love the yarn, don't love it all together. And then I started seeing other people wear their, oh, my foot's falling asleep. Ow. They had a lot of pastel colors. Love, love, love the shawls with lighter colors. You know, and this just really isn't my style. I don't wear bright greens like I wear green. We established that last time. But I don't wear this bright of a green, you know, and I just don't wear anything that's got so much contrast on it. So I ripped out section 3 and then I realized I'm changing every single color in my color palette, brand new color palette. I was like, man, I am not ripping all this shit out. Hell no, that is gonna take forever. My Southern's coming out. Can you tell? So what I'm gonna do is dump this in a bag that I have of all of my forgotten granny squares, swatches, all of that. And one day I'm gonna make the ugliest blanket ever by putting all of those together. So I'm not giving up on the make along. I'm just now an entire week behind. And I'm okay with that, because what I want to do is I want to use my yarn from the Craft Me Not macaron collection, which is what I made my rocket tee out of, plus one color that's from that same collection. So I'm going to show you 1, 2, 3. Can I do this? I can do this. I want to show you the color palette. Shit, that's not the right one. This is gonna happen, I promise. So these are the ones that I'm using. So I'm just gonna use up these first. And then when I run out of one of these colors, in the meantime, I'll be frogging the sweater and claiming that yarn back. And then also winding this one and this one, because there's not much of the vanilla. Yeah, there's not much of the forget it. I have more of the vanilla, and it's only a small ball left. So this is my new color palette for the shawlography. I'm gonna do, this is my main color, the lightest one. I'm telling you, if you've seen them and you like lighter colors, you know what I'm talking about. Because here's the thing, I'm really enjoying the knit along. I'm loving learning how to do new and different constructions on how to make a shawl. And I can tell from like past knit alongs and what I'm doing right now, this is a real time investment, and it's a financial investment. Like 5 skeins of yarn is a lot. So my ass is gonna like this shawl and I'm gonna wear it. So I might as well knit exactly what I want, because I love it so far. I just want new colors. So that's what I'm gonna do. I forgot to show you guys some of my bags. So a couple of my projects are actually in Naughty knitting sacks. So the outside of this one that's gonna hold my shawlography shawl, this is by Naughty knitting sacks. Beautiful on the outside. It's beautiful on the inside too, but the beautiful fabric on the inside, this is for you, Chevis, is Fornicating unicorns. And make sure you can really, unicorns doing the nasty. Some funny stuff. I love this bag. Love it. The quality of the stitching is beautiful, and this is such a great company, and I love these bags. And I love showing people that I have perverted knitting bags. The other one that's holding my weekender, this bag is the shit. So it's got really, like a really cool skull and heart pattern on the outside with some filigree. But then the inside is my fornicating skeletons. If I can get this bag to cooperate with me. What is my major malfunction today, folks? All right. So see, they're doing it standing up. Ah, missionary. Some Karma Sutra shit going on there. So, those are my Naughty knitting sacks. Yeah. And then my Stephen West was in this bag that I got from We Are Knitters. It was in their Paris store. Voulez-vous tricoter avec moi ce soir? Tricoter. I think that's how you say it. Will you knit with me tonight? Because, you know, the original is like, will you sleep with me? Well, this is will you knit with me? All right. That's it for the FO webs. I gotta take this off. It's like 80 something degrees today. Oh my. Whew. Holy crap. Ugh. Of course I decided, oh, my hair looks nice. I'll just wear it down. No, I'm gonna die from heat exhaustion. Not really. Not really. I'm fine, folks. Y'all probably weren't worried. Nobody should be. Okay, so let's talk about acquisitions. Remember? Okay, so let me just start out with most of the stuff that you've seen. I already had all this stuff in my stash. And some of the stuff I'm about to show you is either like clubs that I subscribe to or stuff that I had bought before I made this huge announcement that I was gonna not buy as much yarn. Yeah, well, whatever. Whatever. I have gone on a couple of trips, which I'll talk about later. But in one of them, I went to Greensboro. I went to Greensboro, South Carolina, and went to go visit a friend that I hadn't seen, two of my friends and I hadn't seen them since, gosh, before the pandemic started. So it had been too long. And they're some of my favorite people in this whole freaking world. So one of the days that I was in town, we went to downtown Greensboro, which I had never been there. I was always like driving past when I lived in Asheville or went to go visit people in Asheville on 40. So we actually went to hang out, great coffee shop, and I knew that there was a highly rated knitting shop in the downtown strip area. So thought about it and I was like, okay, you can't go in there and spend a ridiculous amount of money. I don't need anything. So I needed a plan because I at least wanted to get something. So my plan was, well, you know, after seeing Chevis give us a look at her Musselburgh, where she used Musselboro, what is the point that I'm trying to freaking make? Chevis made a beautiful Musselburgh hat, and she made it using hand spun yarn that she spun herself, and it was gorgeous. Gorgeous. So I decided I want to learn how to spin. It's time. I always kind of have wanted to, but never taken that leap. And so I decided I'm going to learn how to do it on a drop spindle, and I'm going to get fiber in a drop spindle from this yarn store in Greensboro. So that's what I did. I got an Ashford drop spindle from New Zealand. And apparently I need this string right here. I haven't learned how to do it yet. I'm saving it for my next vacation, which is coming up soon. But here's my drop spindle. And I decided to get something natural. So this is 100% pure New Zealand wool. And it's got a 30 micron Corriedale wool. Don't know what that means. I know that it means something important. The number of microns has something to do with the sturdiness and the softness of the yarn and so on. I just don't remember what's good and what's bad. But I was told that this yarn, or this wool, would be good for a first time spinner. So I'm gonna start looking up videos on the YouTubes and check it out. The other thing that I got, and I've messed this skein up, so it's not as pretty as it was when I bought it in the store, but I had never heard of this company before, and I kept staring at this yarn that I didn't need. That's just a touch similar to some other yarn that I have, but it's by Yarn Rehab. It's rehabilitation for the yarn bereft. And it's Meadowcroft Dye Works. Let's see. It's called Pisgah National Forest. And see, I was just in or close to Pisgah National Forest when I went to Asheville last month. So I didn't even see the colorway name when I picked it up. So it was meant to be. 100 grams, 468 yards. That's pretty good. And it's gorgeous. It's got like this watercolor, blue, smoky purple, green thing going on that I just love. But they had a lot of really great colors. They had a lot of really great colors. This particular, I don't remember the name. I think the name of the yarn store was Gate City Yarns. I'll link it below. You guys know I'll take care of you. Y'all know I'll take care of you. Shouldn't do that again. Next is, oh my gosh, I have too many acquisitions. Sock Squad by The Farmer. Oh, here we go. The Farmer's Daughter Fibers. And it's funny because this is actually the last month that I got the Sock Squad. Again, just trying to rein in all those clubs, but this is probably my favorite one. That's the last one that I get. It's called Pucker Up, and I love this color. I could see myself making a cowl out of this and just doing like some mosaic knitting at the top or the bottom with the contrast color and just using it all up, just knitting one big tube. Next I'm going to show a couple of them at the same time. So this was the August and September mystery clubs from Craft Me Not Yarn. So this was September, which is gorgeous. Look at those greens and the browns. It's from the Great Outdoors Mystery Club, and this is called Superior's Shore. So if you've ever been to Lake Superior, I feel like this would mean a lot to you. It means a lot to me because it's beautiful and my dear friend made it. But like, it's cool because there's this really pretty pink, blush pink that you can't really see in there. So it's not just a green and a brown, right? It's got other fun stuff in it. This one, the August one, Ghost Pipe, like I audibly gasped. I was like, oh, it's so pretty. In fact, I think the message I sent Sarah was like in all caps because I was so excited about it. It's just gorgeous. And I'm starting to get a little bit more DK. Yeah, you can see that really well. I'm getting a weird reflection. There we go. So both of these are DK and just 100% superwash merino. So I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I have plenty of fingering weight yarn. I want some more DK in my stash. So I think one time in the past, Sarah was like, did you really mean to select this one yarn? Because I always get the same thing. So creature of habit, I guess. Okay, had to get resituated, clean up, hydrated, because I'm sweating like a friggin' pig right now. The last thing I wanted to show you with Craft Me Not Yarn is a sock set that I got from her shop after she announced on an Instagram Live that she was going to start a Patreon account. So I'll link the information for Craft Me Not Yarn Company, like her website and her Patreon account, because she's such a talented and interesting and beautiful individual. And I just can't wait to see what else she's going to show us and what else she's gonna, bring us along for on her journey. She's quite an artist and does more than just dyeing yarn. But yarn is how I found her. And I actually found her from Erin at Coast to Coast Yarn, posting in her stories, the first collection that Sarah had ever released. So as a reward for going on Instagram Live, Sarah said that she had 3 spooky sock sets that she was going to put up for sale. And I was going to get one of those sock sets. That's right. So after the Instagram Live, I just kept like every few seconds hitting refresh on her website to make sure that I got it. Because I didn't know, some of her stuff goes really quickly, as it should, because it's all incredible. Well, I ended up buying the sock set before, somehow the website let me buy the sock set before she was completely finished uploading and updating these. So I might have stolen this from someone, and I'm not sorry. So this is the spooky sock set. Isn't that gorgeous? Can you see that there's a theme of grays and purples and like a brownish goldish color in everything that I'm doing right now? It's like if it's spooky and fall at all. Oh, look, you can see my mess. That's awesome. Isn't this pretty? I think so. I love it. I can't wait. There's like some rust in there, if you can see that. I cannot wait. I have no idea what I'm going to make out of this. I don't know. Should it be socks? Should it be a one skein shawl? Should it be fingerless mitts? Should it be a cowl? I don't know. The last two things are the, let's see, oh, I'm probably going to get this wrong. Oh, thank goodness that Erin puts details on her labels. So this is the, I don't think I shared this last time, but this is the August 2021 Mush Club colorway. It's called Shiitake. And the cool thing about this month and September and July is they all go together really well, as Erin pointed out. So maybe I need like a 3 skein shawl. I'm digging the earthy tones that these ladies are throwing at me with these yarns. Like, I love my color, some color, as you found out through shawlography, but man, I just love these earth tones. And this is September, called I don't know how to pronounce these colorways. And I don't really know mushrooms. I just know that I love the Mush Club and that this yarn is gorgeous. Like, there's a little bit of a rusted orange color in there too. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe a 3 skein shawl with those at some point in the future. Those were all my yarn acquisitions. One thing that I've been doing just to have a sanity check and also make sure that I take care of birthday and holiday knitting while also making stuff for myself is writing down, like, what knitting projects do I absolutely want to start and finish, or just finish in the month of October. So I've got my list going, and one of the things that I'm doing is making more socks for my father because he loves them and he's very much knit worthy. And so I was going through my self-striping yarn and I found this colorway from Desert Vista Dye Works. I don't know where the ball band is. I literally just wound it though and already lost the ball band. But once I finish his Father's Day socks, I'm going to get started on these, and maybe even while I'm visiting him in September. Not September. What month is it? It's October. I see him at the end of this month. I don't care. I'm going to knit these for my dad for his birthday. And then I'm going to keep working on the shawlography shawl. I'm going to start over tonight. Now that the second clue is out. What else? Oh, and I'm just going to make washcloths and get started on planning out how I want to do my Christmas knits and how I want to organize that and the timing and all of that. So right now, just finishing up October birthday stuff and starting on Christmas gifts as far as washcloths go. So that's my next step, with all the little things that I decide to do along the way. I'm sure there's going to be another stuffed animal sometime soon, because little stuffies like the pumpkins I did were so much fun and I want to do more. Well, that's it for the knitting content for today. So let's move into all my other fun stuff. Let's see, what have I done? I took a trip to Asheville and that was amazing. I don't think I had taken that trip by the last time I recorded. Went to Greensboro, North Carolina for, well, really more like Winston-Salem last weekend to see friends. It as far as life goes, everything's kind of, I'm getting into kind of like a, steady routine. I suffered with anxiety and depression my entire life, and I'm only now understanding as an adult that it's something that's not going to go away. It's something I'm always going to have to manage, and it's just a part of who I am. And while I take medicine regularly, there are other things that I need to do to take care of myself. And so that's one of the reasons why, I thought I could do a side hustle, making bags and that kind of thing. And I thought I could do this podcast and all of these different things that I wanted to do from like an artistic, creative perspective. And I just couldn't handle it when I decided to do all of it. That's about when my mental health started to go downhill again. I mean, it's kind of a roller coaster during the pandemic. It's a roller coaster on the best of days when we aren't in the middle of a pandemic. So I had to just let go of a lot of stuff that I couldn't emotionally and mentally and physically fit on my plate, so that I could start taking better care of myself, like getting good sleep, taking breaks, eating healthier foods, getting outside and taking a walk, talking to people, letting more people know what's going on with me. And all those things have definitely helped me level out a little bit. And so it's made it much easier to get out of bed. And now I don't have tendonitis problems like I did. So I'm able to knit, and knitting is part of what I use for my anxiety. So that's all getting much better. And if I decide to add on any other projects outside of work that aren't this podcast and aren't taking care of myself, it's going to be a very slow progression. So I also just say that because I know that some of you watching have also had some challenging moments in life recently. And even though we're not experiencing things in the same way, we're kind of having the same experiences as far as dealing with anxiety and depression through a pandemic when everything has always been so questionable. So just know that I get it. I'm here for you. Reach out if you need anything. One of the ways that I am learning to take better care of myself is to learn how to be nice to myself and how to not treat food like it's therapy and like it's something to hide behind. And that just because I am a certain size and a certain weight, that doesn't define me, and giving myself a hard time about it and putting myself down because I'm dealing with all of these things, along with struggling to be physically healthier. It's a lot to take on. And so I've been trying to figure out, like, what's at the root of all of this stuff, of the binge eating and the anxiety and depression. And so I've been looking for different books as I'm thinking about, how I want to approach therapy in the future. And look for a new therapist. And this is called Eat to Love. I'm only about a chapter and a half in, and I think that this author takes a Buddhist perspective, and so far they also do a good job of, if you have different beliefs, you can still apply these principles to what you're doing. And there are just some really great things in here, like, that hit home, like, a diet is a cure that doesn't work for a disease that doesn't exist. I thought that was really great. Let's see, what was another one? By making exercise obligatory for the purpose of weight loss or control, we lose the connection with our bodies and any joy derived from being in them. Like, what? We're allowed to say stuff like that and feel that way? That's insane. And then we take care of things when we love them, our bodies included. And so just trying to get to the root cause of a lot of that stuff and finding some really great things in this book. I've purchased some other books, but I haven't gotten to them yet. So I'll share them along the way if I find that they're helpful. And, hopefully some of you will get something out of those. And yes, I am the nerd that puts little tabs and whatnot in books. And I I'm a bibliophile, and so while I will listen to audiobooks, like the one that I'm listening to right now, there are certain situations where I just prefer to have the physical book. It makes me happy. So for audiobooks, I'm listening to Children of Virtue and Vengeance. It is a trilogy, I believe. Didn't write down the author's name, so that's awesome. But it is a fantasy series that is set in Africa. And it's a lot more, it brings in a different perspective in the fantasy world that I really like. It's not your normal, like, knight in shining armor, you know, wizards and witches like, you know, Gandalf and Bilbo Baggins and all that shit. Which is all great and fine, but it's just really nice and refreshing to read something a little bit different that's based in other cultures and other tribal traditions, and seeing how an author from a different perspective has taken this genre and made it something different and just created this amazing world. So I think that's the third book. I think it's the third book. I can't remember, but definitely I'll be finishing out the series because I love it. Let's see. Oh, and then I also had a cookbook I wanted to share with you. The great thing about this cookbook is, if you're like me and some of my friends and we're experienced and we don't really need a cookbook, but sometimes you just need an idea, this cookbook's great for that. It's also good for people who are not comfortable in the kitchen, they're not comfortable not using a recipe, and they're not ready to be super adventurous yet. Or you just one night don't have the brain power and you need something simple and good and easy to make. One of my friends got this for me for my birthday. My birthday or Christmas. And the cool thing about it was they went through and made notes. So if they've made something and they really loved it, they would write a little note saying, this is one of our favorites, or if they didn't like it at all, apparently. I'm looking at the notes now. Yeah, like one of them is a hamburger macaroni tomato casserole, and they suggest like adding a little extra garlic, stuff like that. And like I added diced tomatoes to it, but these recipes are really easy to follow. They're really easy to modify, and yeah, it's just a great resource. If you are like me and you like having physical cookbooks, this is a great one to have in your arsenal, or it's a great one to like give newly graduated college students, right? Who like probably don't cook much or didn't cook much during college, and now they've got their own place and, you know, they want to start learning how to be an adult, whatever the hell that means. This would be a great addition. So I promised I would try to do the cookbook thing for you as well. So there's that. And then lastly is music. So I'm a huge fan of jazz, if you hadn't heard. How many times did I talk about that last time? So the jazz recommendation that I have for all of you is Christian Scott. And I'm using my phone to record, so I can't remember the name of my favorite album by him right now, but I'll find that and link it in the show notes. It's definitely a little bit more new age, sort of darker kind of jazz. The particular album I'm going to share with you in the show notes, and one of my favorites by him, but he's got a lot of stuff out. So if you like jazz and you want to listen to something a little different, Christian Scott's the way to go. It's not as different as like Miles Davis's Witch's Brew, because I feel like Miles Davis took, you know, a really interesting different route with his music in that album, but it's still a step beyond your traditional jazz that I listen to anyway. So I'd check that out. And then the other one is actually a band that's no longer together, but the two people that were involved in it still have their solo careers. I like their stuff better when they collaborated. The band was called the Civil Wars, WARS, and it was, oh shoot, what were their names? I can't remember, but they've got some incredible songs, and the music they made together was unbelievable. And I will make sure that I link a few of my favorites of theirs that are also great, like, introductions to their music. Because I like to make recommendations to people, but also find the right way to introduce them to new music so that it's a little bit more accessible. Like, the selections are a little bit more accessible. And then when you decide if you like their sound on those songs, that's when I feel like people get excited and start exploring other albums by similar artists that might be a little different. So with that, I think that's all I have for you today. And I'm glad that I sat down to record again. I'm actually, before I start my Stephen West Shawl over again, I am going to go ahead and upload this and start editing and get it out in less than 2 months' time, because I do have new people subscribing, and I'm really excited to meet all of you and learn more about you. And the best way, one of the ways to do that, is to keep posting these videos in hopes that, you know, people will comment and enjoy them and reach out to me, so we can become friends. I like having friends. And I'm a pretty good friend, I think. Well, I at least got a list of people that would agree with me on that. Maybe not everybody, but that's okay. I'm kind of one of those people, you either really love me and adore me, or you can't stand me at all. And I'm fine with that. You know, I'm fine. I'm doing good. All right, no more rambling. I am going to pick up this mess because I've taken over Ophelia's new bed/play area that I got her for her birthday, and she was not happy that I was doing all of this stuff close to her bed. So she's staring at me from across the room and is ready to get back into her napping phase. So I hope everybody has a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching this. Stay safe out there and make sure that you are getting up and stretching and moving around however it is possible for you, because it's great for your mental health and it's great for your physical health, and it's fall, so why wouldn't you want to go outside? Talk to you all later. Bye.